Hey, Unbound One, it's Nicola here, founder of the Unbound Press and writing mentor to incredible, magical beings like you. And today I want to talk a bit more about the unbound self, because recently I was being interviewed for Kristen Evier's brand new podcast, Soul Ally, which is amazing, or it's going to be amazing. And she asked me the most interesting question, which I've never been asked before. So I love it when that happens. And I was talking about the unbound self. And during the podcast, I actually went through the meeting your unbound self visualization. I guided everyone through it. And if you want a copy of that, if you haven't listened to it before, then just comment below this video or send me a DM and I will make sure that you get it. I've got a free download you can have. Anyway, Kristen asked me this question afterwards. She said, is the unbound self the same as your higher self? Like I said, never been asked that question before. And it's such a good one. It's such a juicy one as well, because, well, what do you think? Do you think it's the same? And I had to think for a moment. And actually the answer is no. There are some similarities, but there's a subtle difference between the unbound self and your higher self. And that is that your unbound self is likely to show you, when you connect with your unbound self, the parts of you that you have been holding back, repressing, the parts of you that you've forgotten, that you've been feeling shame around, that you've been trying to hide, or like I said, you've just completely forgotten are there. That is what your unbound self is for. That is the purpose of your unbound self. When you choose to connect with her or him, or them, whoever your unbound self is, they will show you first and foremost the parts of you that you have not been expressing in your life. Okay, so that's very different from your higher self, because there's a very, like I said, specific role that your unbound self is here to play, and that is to unbind you from all of these stories about who and how you should be in the world. So an example of this is, I talk about this in Heal You're in a Good Girl and Unbound. When I first connected with my unbound self, I created this process to connect with the fullest, freest expression of who you are, your unbound self. And I thought, okay, I'll take myself through this process, obviously. And I expected my unbound self to be this gorgeous, kind of light-filled being, full of love and compassion, and, just imagined that it was going to be this really beautiful experience. And actually, my unbound self showed up as this kind of really dark, kind of like seething, rage-filled ball of energy on this wild and windy beach, where there's this massive storm happening. And I didn't even experience my unbound self as a person, as a human. She was literally, like I said, this dark ball of energy, and she was thrashing around all over the place. She was really pissed off. So I was kind of shocked initially. I was like, oh my goodness, what have I done? I don't know if I want to connect with my unbound self if she's going to be like this. But actually what she was doing, she was showing me so powerfully and so clearly, are these kind of aspects of myself that I had pushed away, this rage and this anger that I had within me, which I hadn't acknowledged. At times it would kind of blow up, because of course we have the full range of emotions within us. So because I was like trying to be the good girl and hold these qualities down, because we're taught, particularly as women, that we shouldn't be angry, or there's something wrong with us if we feel anger or certainly rage, because I'd push them down. At times, like I said, they would like blow up in the most kind of unhelpful way. But generally, I wasn't acknowledging that part of myself. So as soon as I connected with my unbound self, she was like, here you go. This is all the stuff that you have not been acknowledging, that you've been hiding about yourself, that you've been pushing away. What are you going to do about it? And what I was able to do then was actually to own the fact that there was a lot of rage within me, and this, and like just talking about rage, very often there's kind of rage that we experience individually because of our own circumstances and the world that we live in right now, which can feel very restrictive and very unfair in a lot of ways. But also there's a lot of collective rage that we can connect with as women, because an ancestral kind of rage that goes way back, through our ancestral lines. So, there was a lot there that my unbound self showed me. Now, I'm not saying it'll be the same for you, and it changes. This is the wonderful thing about your unbound self. Now when I connect with my unbound self, it's a very different experience. And I know when I went through the visualization with Kristen, when we were doing the podcast interview, her experience was very different, and it showed her where she's been holding back. So this is why it's a very dynamic process to connect with your unbound self. It's ever changing, ever evolving. She will show you what area of your life, what aspect of yourself that you have been holding back, and invite you. Actually, it's not always an invitation. Sometimes it's a push from the unbound self. She doesn't hold back. She will invite you to bring that forward in some way. So it's so fascinating to develop this relationship with your unbound self. So I hope that makes sense. If you've got any questions that come up from that, please do post them below this video. And like I said, if you would like a copy of my Meeting Your Unbound Self, it's a free visualization that I can get you access to. Just comment below the video or send me a message and I will get that across to you. All right, my loves, I will see you again soon. Bye.